What's going on, guys? Welcome back down to the Lair YouTube channel. I'm Jared, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to 540 flare. Let's get it. Okay, so first things first is obviously you're going to want to learn how to backflip, and if you don't know what that looks like, I'll just do one over this here, spine transfer, real quick. All right, so that's what a backflip looks like. Obviously, you probably all already knew that. Also, you're gonna wanna learn how to flare. If you don't know what a flare looks like, I'll show you right here real quick. There's a flare. You're gonna wanna learn how to backflip and flare, obviously, because if you can't do those two, you're definitely not gonna be ready to 5 flare. Now, a lot of you guys, and probably people that can 5 flare, would say learn how to 3 flip first. That's not the way I did it. I didn't know how to 3 flip until like a year ago. I've been able to 5 flare for like 3 years. If you can 3 flip, sure, it'll help, but it's not critical. You don't have to learn how to 3 flip, but I'm gonna teach you guys the way how I did it, because back in Alberta, I didn't have an airbag like lovely Air X Center does. I just had to send it straight concrete. So if you guys are a local here, or if you do have access to an airbag, obviously you're gonna wanna learn it to the airbag first. That's just gonna get you more comfortable with it. You're not gonna land on your neck. You're not gonna break anything. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory, but for me and how I learned it, I just had to send it straight concrete with some old pads that I drug out of my house. Let's go over down into this little corner. So obviously, if you know how to flare, you know exactly when to pop. You wanna start leaning back halfway. As soon as you feel the coping, you pop. Now, this is how I learned the 5 flare, because I always had trouble with spinning it super fast. So I always learned it with doing a massive alley-oop. Now, not everyone does it this way, but that's just how I personally learned it. If I didn't alley-oop, I would just do a 3 flip, and then I'd land back into the quarter and kind of just fall back onto my head. You don't want to do that. That's literally the scariest thing ever. I spin to the left on my 5 flares, so you want to start coming to the quarter pipe at like kind of a right angle a little bit. So you want to start coming up to the right, and then you want to spin as hard as you can. And when you're doing the alley-oop, say you take off right here, you're gonna end up landing probably about a foot or two this way on the quarter. So make sure you don't take off in the middle of the quarter if you are doing an alley-oop. You want to take off a little bit on the opposite side that you're spinning, if that makes sense. Now, the first overall motion of the 5 flare, there's really no good way to explain it. You literally just have to throw your body as hard as you can, and it's kind of just like a huck and pray situation. Obviously, you're going to want to lean back and pop like a flare, but overall, with a flare, you kind of just sit back, drop your shoulder, relax. With the 5 flare, do that exact same thing, the same pop as a regular flare. You just want to literally just jerk your body exactly like that. Just literally just try to spin as fast as you can. If you do, that's okay. You're gonna end up like Carson Scheffner with a broken collarbone, but hey, sometimes that's okay.
People don't know he did that.
People don't know that Carson did that, so that's gonna be bleeped out. Sorry, Carson. After you send it a few times and you kind of are starting to get the feeling of it, it is a super blind trick at first, because obviously you're gonna have your eyes open and your whole world's gonna be going like that midair. Your body does start to get used to the motion, and you do start to feel out where exactly you are in the air. You're gonna wanna start to spot it. So I pull the 5 flare, exactly like how I just explained. And then when I feel my body get to the 3 flip position, I spot my landing. I kind of tuck into a ball at the last little 180 part of the flip, and I land perfect, roll away. That's kind of what you're gonna want to go for. Now, your first 5 flares, they're not gonna look like that. They're literally gonna be penciled the entire way. Once you start doing them more and more, you're gonna get more comfortable with it, obviously, just like any other trick. Alex has a question. What's your question?
Doing a 540 air, like no flare, does that help or no?
No. So Alex just said if doing just a regular 540 air, if that helps. The answer is, for me personally, no. Alex, I can't 540 air over coping. I don't even know if I could 540 air on this 2.5 foot quarter pipe. Yeah, that is kind of just the overall steps. It is a big mentality thing. It's gonna take a lot of courage to actually get yourself to just send the flip in general. It is scary at first, just like a backflip, but I promise you, as soon as you do it once, all of the fear is gone, and it just becomes easier and easier and easier. Now, real quick, I'm just gonna show you guys the difference of doing it into an airbag, because doing it into an airbag flyout, I mean, if you do have 2 quarters on the side of your airbag, that's ideally what you want to start going for, because then you get the actual feeling of popping out of the quarter. But if you end up having an airbag exactly like how I do, with no quarters on either side, you're gonna have to learn the 5 flare into the airbag flyout. Basically, the only difference is you're not like popping back, you're kind of just spinning off with the quarter pipe and just sending it. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like real quick. Let's go over there. Okay, so as you can see with that one, number one, that was not a good 5 flare at all. So if you do have an airbag, Again, it's a great way to practice. However, if you do want to start learning it quicker, I would suggest literally either doing what I did, drag some pads out from your house at the skate park, sending it straight quarter, or if you do have quarters going into your airbag for air tricks, obviously you're gonna wanna do it like that. So that is basically all of the steps that you need to know on how to 5 flare. Quick little recap again. For your first one, you're gonna wanna alley-oop. Start going halfway up the ramp, start leaning back with an alley-oop. As soon as you feel that coping, snap and jerk your entire body back. Pop like a flare, spin like you're about to do a Misty 1080 cork 1400. Obviously, you're not gonna wanna do it super low on the quarter. You're not gonna wanna go super high. Kinda just have it as a good medium. Just go however fast that you feel more comfortable with. And yeah, at the end of the day, hopefully you will know how to land a 540 flare. I think that's everything. Let's get some shots of me doing it. All right, there is the 5 flare. I'm sorry, we're literally at Poco, so the only quarter I can do it on is this one here. That is it for the tutorial. I hope you guys learned something, or at least I helped with your 540 flares. This is kind of like a more advanced tutorial. I know there's not a lot of 5 flare tutorials out there on YouTube, so I decided to try it out. And let us know what you want to see next. See you on Saturday. Peace out.